Good morning. That is beyond. They did an amazing job creating the scene, and your voice is just amazing. So it's. I mean, I can't. I'm like, I got to do a call.
I was rewatching it last night too, trying to get some like still shots from it. Because I want to send some stuff to Hilda because it's all in English. This one is all in English, and they won't get a lot of it, but they did a really good job explaining or just showing Hilda and who she was to me and what she did for me.
Well, yeah, it's an amazing. And I don't know how 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in. That's incredible.
Yeah, you're still at the very beginning.
Yeah. But because I know you and love you, when you would start to get nervous, I'd get nervous because I go, oh my God, I know that sound in her voice. Oh, I love you so much. Yeah, it's an amazing video. Oh, good Lord. Well, let's go ahead and kick it off. Good morning, everybody. It is 1 year of calls. Which way do I need to go to so you can see that? Look at that. 1 year of calls, 365, episode 365. And you all are here. I appreciate you so much. Today is Saturday, February something, 22nd, 2020. Today's a conversation. Last night I had a download like I haven't had in a long time. So we're going to go over some of that. But y'all keep your eye on this girl. She's in the top left-hand corner of mine, Heather Love. She was just on Nat Geo, Locked Up Abroad. It's called the Colombian Double Cross. I love the name for it. It's just amazing. So you're this amazing soul. And when you start to hear what she's been through, it's one thing to hear what she's been through. It's another thing when they start to depict it in pictures and video and the actors they have that play these roles. Girl, I would just want to pick you up, put you in my pocket and hug you. All right, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Go ahead. Good morning, Shammy and Jasmine and Gisela and Angie and Julio and Crystal and Brianna and Bob Parks in the house and Brittany and Javella and Michelle. And there's RBP in the morning in the pink robe. I wonder now if she's like fully dressed and then she goes, oh, I got to go put the pink robe on. Probably. Boy, I'm going to cut that piece of video out and make that a meme. You're going to owe me lots of money. Good morning, everybody. Go ahead and send out your 3 messages. And do me a favor. When you're sending out your 3 messages in the chat, do me a favor. Just type in some love to Heather. She has put herself out there in the world. She got kind of taken away from herself back in 2006, April 26th. What was it? April 26th. Yeah. 2006, right?
April 28th.
April 28th.
2006.
Yep. So she got taken away from her family and everything else in that story that you hear where she got locked up abroad in a Colombian prison. Nat Geo did a series on Locked Up Abroad, and she's one of the interviews. She went to London last year to do this. So just send her some love in the chat if you would, please, as well. Okay. Send out your 3 messages this morning. And then sit down, buckle up, and let's get ready for a little bit of a ride, because last night was pretty amazing till 2 a.m. for me. Anybody seen Harriet, the movie Harriet? About Harriett Tubman? Oh, wow. I'm going to encourage you. Ladies, I'm going to encourage you. Guys, I'm going to encourage you to watch this. Harriett Tubman is the one who freed slaves, and she's credited on the Underground Railroad. She freed 70 slaves in the Underground Railroad, and they're like, no, Harriet, you can't go. It takes engineering. It takes planning. She goes, God talks to me. And in this movie, they portrayed it pretty darn well, what happens to her and how she does that. So she saved 70 through the Underground Railroad. And then she was the first woman she's one of few women in military in the U.S. Army to take men into combat, to lead men into combat. And she led them this one particular combat where she freed 750 slaves all at once. It's an amazing story. I promise you, you will get some good out of it. But here's the questions that came to me from there, and then this download that happened to me afterwards. So, I saw it on Prime, I guess, maybe, or Hulu or something, one of those services. I love that Shammy thinks I know that I'm smart enough to remember where some of this stuff happens. So here's some of the questions. Y'all ready? And if you send out your 3 messages, go ahead and type a D in the chat. I'm going to encourage you. That's going to be powerful in our conversation today. So here's the question. First question that I got from this. Listening to their conversation, what journey do you need prayer for? Right? People always say they're going to pray for you on your journey. What journey do you need prayer for? What journey are you starting right now that you need prayer for? And, you know, I hear all the time, I've heard all the time, you don't ask specific enough. You don't ask big enough. Well, I've been doing some asking here lately, getting a little bit more specific, going, aren't I asking to figure out the how? No, you're really not. So be clear of what you need prayer for. Listen, in the profession we're in, what profession are we in? What business are we in? Building people. So listen, who is praying for your journey to begin? Somebody is praying for your journey to begin. There are people that are going to be getting so much life out of Heather's documentary that for 13 years, she kind of kept it quiet, kept it under wraps, kept it because it didn't feel like it was a worthy story. And now all of a sudden, right, the tears she shared has watered this dream of being able to help more people. Somebody right now is praying for your journey to begin, you to step up, you to step out, you to step into your glory, you to step into your worthiness. Oof. We're in question number 3. Who knows the prayers you need? I'm blessed to spend some time with some of you on this call, outside of the call. And I'll ask for prayers. I've got, if on my screen, she's in the top left-hand corner there, pink robe lady. That's my go-to. Send a text, need a prayer. About what? I don't know. I just need a prayer, or here's what I need. Okay, got it. Listen, do you know what it would be to experience here? Oh, now I want you to hear this from who I am. I'm going to ask you to hear it from my heart. I can't even begin to imagine the challenges that some of you experience because of who you are. Follow me on this? Do you know what it would be to experience freedom? Follow me on this. Do you know what it would be to experience freedom? We're in a free country. We're in a free state. We're in a free moment. But are we really free? From our old story, from trying to be someplace else? Where do we find freedom? The only place you will ever find freedom is in the now. In this moment. You can be free in this moment. Now, that's easier said than done. I get that. But working towards being in the moment right now, you're in a safe place. You're surrounded by friends. You got internet connection. You've got clean water. You've got family. In this moment, you can be free. Now, it takes a lot to stop the wheels of past story and everything else. I get that. These are things that I work with. These are things I work with my students on a daily basis, is getting into that moment of now. Now, this was after she escaped and she got to Pennsylvania and she's now free. And the guy who is helping her take on her freedom, take on her, get her papers, right? Because she's in a free state, Pennsylvania. Walk like you have the right to walk like you have the right to be here, and nobody will bother you. How do you walk in your dreams? How do you walk into your church? How do you walk into your business? How do you sit down at a business meeting? Don't you have a right to be there? What is your intention behind the conversation of the moment? In this moment, will you do now? Will you be present? Do you have a right? Here's what Brene Brown talks about. She says, the reason most people can't tell you their story is because you haven't given them the right to tell you their story. Now think about that for a second. They want to tell their story. You haven't given them the right. That we call it a comfort zone. We call it a safe place. But do you realize if somebody hasn't told their story and they have kept it quiet, they feel they don't have the right to tell their story, the right to burden somebody with it, the right to put themselves in a spotlight, the right to do fill in the blank. When I got tapped on the shoulder back in August by that amazing soul, Heather Love, and she says, I've got a story. Never in a million years did I imagine it being a story on National Geographic that she shared with me. How did she show up here? Well, think about the environment we were in. We were listening to, I just forgot her name. It'll come to me in a second. The woman who ran the gambling casinos and the gambling games between New York and all over the world. And she was this huge, and she had some guns pulled on her and guns stuck in her mouth and all of these different things. And Heather says, I have a story similar to that. Now I'm look at that face right there. When that face smiles and when she shares love with you, you're going, nah, I don't think you could live through a story like that. Oh, how wrong I was. Molly Bloom, that's who it was. Molly Bloom was on stage at our convention. And so Heather finally it was the day, that event was the day she had enough. Not me, that event was the day she had enough. I just happened to be the lucky soul that got a tap on the shoulder to say, this is what I heard in my head, if you listen quietly, you may hear something wildly amazing. And we've developed this lifelong relationship in less than a year, in 6 months, 7 months. And now all of a sudden I get to see her in this video, in this movie, in this documentary that is it's National Geographic. I mean, I'm waiting for this is Emmy Award winning stuff. So walk like you have a right to be here and nobody will bother you. Who's bothering you right now in your dreams, in your thoughts, in your daily conversations with your own self? Who's bothering you? Is it you bothering you? Is it an old story bothering you? Oh, and then here's my question to you. When slaves were freed, they allowed them to pick a new name. Here's my question to you. I'd ask you to write it down on the paper. What name would you pick on your day of freedom? If today you decided today's the day of freedom for you, would you pick a new name? Would you add something to it? You follow me? She picked her mother's name and her husband's name. That's where you get Harriett Tubman. My point is this. What day, what line, what journey do you have to cross? What state do you have to go into to become free? I think the rest of the world gets mad at us because we don't even realize how much freedom we have. And a lot of times we take it for granted and we try to impose it on others. How many of us are trying to impose our business on others? We're trying to impose our beliefs on others. if they're not like you and you believe you're good, you're right, you're in the best frame of mind, right? Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Even if you're not there perfect. I love it. Nikki Free. You know, yeah, Nikki, do you know what that would mean? In this moment right now, you are Nikki Free. Free of a calendar. Free to be early. Free to be now. Free to be after somebody else's scheduled appointment time. Free to do more. Free to do less. Free to smile. Can you imagine what it's like to be born free? I'm telling you, it was a powerful. Now, I know most people sit there and they watch the movie, but I'm watching this story told about this woman who has changed history forever, has put her stamp on history, will forever be remembered. And as much as she will be remembered for the things she did well, time will remove those folks who at the one time wanted to shoot her, wanted to hang her, wanted to skin her alive, wanted to tear her from limb. Oh, here's an oof. Let me ask you this. Are you waiting to decide the day you are free? Are you waiting to decide the day you are free? What day are you free? Free of the old story, free of the fear, free of the doubt. If you believe there's a source that guides you, the universe, God, fill in a blank, fill in the name, Muhammad, whatever the name is, if you believe there's a source that you can ask for guidance, what day do you think it wants you free? She was going through the woods. And when she says, I'm going back to get my husband, I'm going back to get more, they said, you can't go. It's very sophisticated. It's got to be planned. It's got to be done this. It's got to be done that. It's got to be done here. And they're saying, listen, God tells me where to go. And she said this, God was watching me. God was watching, but my feet were my own. God was watching, but my feet were my own. When you're ready, and you decide to take your step, what's that phrase we say? Providence moves to. Don't know the how, know the why. Make sure you got your channel open on how to show up. Because if you knew how, we'd all be doing it. I could watch Heather's movie, Heather's documentary. I could watch that whole documentary and I could write down every detail that she did. And that would be the how to survive Colombia for 3 years with a 5-year-old at home. How to survive a Colombian prison for 3 years. How to develop a lifelong relationship with a woman who doesn't speak my language. I could learn all of that how. Probably wouldn't make it a couple of days. She had a bigger why that the how didn't matter. All too often, we get tied up in the how when we begin to present to our business partners, when we begin to present in this shared economy, we get tied up in the how. How does a comp plan work? Why do you want to know? Well, how do you get paid? Why would you want to know? What's your why? Everybody's asking the how. And if you know the how, then they figure out you know the how, they got to know the how, and everybody gets stymied. Everybody gets stuck. Everybody gets plugged into, let me learn more. I've been doing what I'm doing for 22 years. I got asked a question yesterday. I said, I don't know how to do that. Literally, I don't know how. Let me see if I can find that out. Is it important? Well, yeah. Okay. Here's how I'm going to search it. You may want to do it because you may get it done quicker, but I'll see if I can find the answer to it. Oof. How much are you paying to look for your dreams? Ugh. That are right in your mind. Ugh. How much are you paying to look for your dreams? See, they said it costs money to go get slaves out of freedom, to go bring them back, to go bring them back to a free state. It costs money to become free. So my question is how much are you paying to become free right now? Oof. What is steering you to where you are needed? To where you are needed? Is what's steering you to where you're needed your desire to get psychic income for you to feel good? Or is it to take care of your dream? See, for you to feel good, for you to have somebody, Larry Thompson calls it your pet, to go sit by your pet and go, oh, you're so good. Oh, Sean, thank you. Oh, I needed you today. And I'm like, look, they needed me. They needed me. It's where the phrase, go where you're deserved, not where you're needed. Could you imagine if Harriet was running back down into the South, into Maryland, to go get slaves who didn't want to go? I'm not going. They kill you if you leave here. How many of you do you have to kill the old self to have the new one show up? How many of you have to run off the plantation of your current state of mind, your current dreams? Listen, it is still a virtual form of slavery where you are stuck and you are being run by the old stories that are running you. What is steering you to where you are needed? Somebody needs you today. Somebody deserves you today. That's where you're needed, where they deserve you. What can you do? What can you do to go where you are deserved, not where you're needed? So they were known as conductors, right? We do not have, what does it say? We do what we have to do so we can stay sane. Not everyone can run. Ugh. I'm not going to tell you who said that, but somebody in the movie says that. We do what we do to have to stay sane. Not every one of us can run. How many of us are trying to get people to run and their sanity, their mindset says they can't run. They're not ready to run. They're not ready to pick up and join you in business, but you'd say, this would be so good for them. And you know who those people are most of the time? Those closest to us. Those closest to us. So there's a couple more things there in the movie, but then that ends. And then I have this download. We'll go through a couple of these and then we'll go into questions and answers. Is this any good? Is this any good? Okay, so I got a thumbs up over there from PRB. Cool. Okay. Yeah, Natalie, it's not our decision for them. And the challenge is we become exhausted. We become exhausted when our desire for them is bigger than their desire for themselves. We run out of fuel because of their desire is not as big as ours, because we've seen it. What did Harriet now have? She had freedom. She couldn't believe she had a paying job the next day after she got her papers and everything else. You can only match their willingness. Don't lose your desire. And that's why we get exhausted in this profession. Could you imagine? Really, I know it's going to sound cheesy, but aren't we helping people break the chains of being stuck? Of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results? Do you know how hard it is to go into the insane asylum and say, you're not insane? Yeah, but everybody else is the same as me. I know, but let's walk outside no, I don't want to go out there. Nope. You can't push them. You got to pull them. You got to show them the light. In that world of darkness, when you have a conversation and you become skilled enough, and listen, here's the skill I'm asking you to work on, Jasmine. Can you become skilled enough to love them without getting hurt? Can you become skilled enough to love them through the glass? And what I mean by that is I can feel sorry for someone. I can sit right next to them and absolutely pour every ounce of love in because I have a place, I have a source that fills me up. I can go have a conversation with somebody and give them everything I have. You know what I do to get my energy back? I send out text messages. I call friends. I call friends who I love. I call friends who I know love me. I sent out some videos yesterday in Facebook. I sent it out to probably 20 people. And it was a pretty good video. Somebody cared enough to send it to me, and I forwarded it to about 20 people. You know how many people sent that back to me going, this is what I needed right now. I needed this today at this moment. Thank you for thinking of me. Out of the 20, 17. And I hadn't been communicating with them, texting with them. I just went through my list and I was listening to their heart, to their souls. And I went, wow, so ego goes, do I really need to send? No, you heard what I said. Hit the send button, hit the share button. And I share, scroll, share, scroll, share. People that are absolute dearest of friends, we haven't talked in a couple of months. They said, this is exactly what I needed at this moment. Can you be prepared to love people and not lose yourself? Can you ask enough questions to find out, do they want what's right for, listen, here, oof. Do they want what's right for them or do they want what's wrong for them? And can you ask the questions to find out the answer to that? See, when you set the stage, listen, I've known Heather since August. I've been blessed to swim in her energy and in her soul and in her spirit, and to watch this growth that happens through her, to watch this growth be revealed, to watch this giant step out from inside of her. That was always inside of her. There's people that are not happy with some of the stuff she said. That's their part in the play. Just like when I just finished watching where the guards, where the border patrol was checking their car. All the haters are playing their role in the movie. The joy givers are playing their role in the movie. The people who could care less are playing their role in the movie. Everybody that comes through your life are just actors. So now this is the downloads that came to me. What are you waiting to expose? What are you waiting to expose? I can promise you on day 2 of Heather's incarceration in a Colombian prison, she didn't, at some point, maybe not, but I don't think so. She probably didn't say, ooh, this is going to be a good movie one day. How much of our present day keeps us from thinking about a future, bringing a future now into the moment? Oh my gosh, this is going to be a great movie. I need to pay attention to this. She's got three books of journals where she just, that's what kept her sane. So I'm going to ask each of you, what are you waiting to expose? What story, what dream, what gift, what talent, what ability, what skill, what scaredness are you waiting to expose? This is a tough one. We could spend, well, I guess we've been spending a few thousand years trying to figure this out. What does it mean? What does it mean to be fully present? What does it mean to be fully present? I hope you, listen, I know I needed a lot of paper for this one. What are your attachments in your life? What are you attached to? Think about that. Think about that for a moment. What are you attached to? We might call it, what are your priorities? But are you attached to toilet paper? I mean, come on. Are you really attached to toilet paper? Heather's giggling because they had to have somebody bring it in. I mean, that was like hen's teeth. Are you attached to clean water? Are you attached to bottled water? Are you attached to Starbucks? Are you attached to Zoom? Are you attached to, there's a lot of attachments in our life. Can you make space for me? Oof. Can you make space for me so you can have space for yourself? When you sit down across from a prospect, from somebody you want to bring in the business, from somebody you're building a relationship with, you know what happens? Why relationships begin to fail? There's no space for each other. Can you make space for me so you have enough space for yourself? That's what you're doing this morning right now. You're making space for me. You literally are. You're making space for me to allow me to pour into you, allow me to ask questions of you so that you can have more of what? More space for yourself. I don't know how many people are on here. I'm gonna put my glasses on. So there's 32 people on here. Why are there some days there's 80 people on here? And I know I'll hear this. Well, but it's because we sent the link out. So you're lifting the weights for them. There's only been a couple of times where you guys have had to remind me that the call is going on. Hey, you're late. Hey, there's Leslie. Good morning, Leslie. You don't have to remind me we have a call every day. I don't have to remind you there's a call every day. I put some posts out, but I'm not tagging you all in it going, hey, get on the call, get on the call. Oh, that's right. Let me get on that call. What is your deepest wish? What is your deepest wish? I know these are all day-long conversations, but when this download starts happening and it's let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did it get to 8? No, 7 pages of just questions. I didn't answer all of these. 7 pages of questions. You want better answers? Begin to ask better questions. You want a better day? Ask better questions. Am I in the now? Are you being present? Did you just know, did you just feel the last breath you took in and took out? Isn't that what life is all about? Breathing? Did you just experience the last breath you had? Were you aware of it? How could you not be aware of life? Because we get distracted by everything other than life. Are you praying? Oh, this one. Man, we could have a whole week of conversation. Are you praying for your mind? Listen, when you put up prayers, are you saying, I wish I could just stop my thoughts. I wish I could just get clarity. I wish I could just do this. Are you praying for your mind? How difficult are prayers for the mind? When you could pray from your heart. You ready for that? Are the prayers you're putting up, are the requests you're putting out to the universe, are they for your mind? Or are you asking from your heart? What would it be to pray from your heart? What would you pray from your heart? What would you pray from your heart?
Did I answer that, Sean?
Yes.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Angie.
So the question is, what would you pray from your heart?
Yeah.
When I thought about that, I thought about all the things that are not of me, if that makes sense. So if I would pray from my heart, I would ask for things that are like, I'll be asking God, take anything that is not of you out of me. So I would ask that from my heart to remove it. What doesn't belong to me, I want it out. Whatever is holding me back, I want it out.
So what
Because
belongs to you?
what belongs to me? Oh, Sean, that's a good question.
Because you said, take away everything that doesn't belong to me.
Mm-hmm.
So what belongs to you?
What belongs to me? I would say my heart, like my breath, everything that God He's provided for me.
So here's the tough question. Do
Mm-hmm.
your kids belong to you?
I don't have kids.
I know, but when you have them, do they belong to you?
Yes.
No, they don't. They're a gift to you.
Oh, yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. They are a
Right?
gift from
Do
God.
your parents belong to you?
No.
Do your brothers and sisters belong to you?
No.
Does the car belong to you?
No.
Does the scarf you're wearing that's beautifully wrapped around your neck, does it belong to you?
No.
Then why do we get attached to all these things?
It's like temporary happiness.
Well, it's to fit into society. Do the beautiful eyelashes and eyeliner that you have on that make you just absolutely gorgeous, does that belong to you?
No.
No. The look you have right now doesn't even belong to you. That's somebody else's idea of what you should look. Yeah, I'm just saying, it's a great statement you said.
Mm-hmm.
We need to follow it up though. I will ask you this, does that smile you have, does that belong to you?
Yes.
So then why would you ever give it away? Because nobody can ever take it from you. So if what we have belongs to us, if we give it away, could it ever be taken from us?
No.
So does happiness belong to you?
Yes.
So then why do we exchange it for sadness?
I don't know.
I know, but this is where you said a profound statement, my love. You said a profound statement. Take away what does not belong to me. When we realize what does not belong to us, it's amazing how much control we absolutely have 100% over what does belong to us.
Yes. Wow.
You are a genius. You know this. This is why you have the courage to say this.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel now?
I feel good. Like like a lot of joy and happiness. I feel so good, Sean. I feel great.
So here's my question to you. Does feeling good, having joy and happiness, does that belong to you?
Yes, 100%.
And does misery belong to you? It can.
No.
Now it's a choice. In this moment, joy or misery, it is always your choice what belongs to you.
Wow. You know, it's crazy too. God gave us that free will to. Oh God. Okay.
I can't make your choice. I give you free will, but I know where we can get to if you give me the chance, is usually how I explain it to myself. And sometimes free will isn't free will. It's what is everybody going to think will.
Yes, that is very true.
Right? You are dressed up. You are gorgeous this morning. You are wearing this beautiful scarf. I love that. I love the way your eyes look. I love the smile. I love your hair.
Thank you.
But if you showed up with wherever you're going in a bun and in sweat and in like a t-shirt and shorts, everybody think you'd lost your mind.
Oh, I love that. I'd rather wear that than this.
I know, but see that. So this outfit you have on does not belong to you. That's somebody else's interpretation of how you should show up today.
Yes. Wow. So my question is, how are you showing up today?
Listen, I'm in my, you can't calm down, and I got my sweatpants on.
No, I meant it in general. Like,
No, I know, but I'm saying I show up confused every day.
Mhm.
I show up curious every day. I'll sit down, and at 6:28, I'll have worked something out. I'll have done a presentation, and I always ask this: I wonder if this is going to be good enough. But thank goodness the clock turns to 6:29, and I have to push the button to go live. I have to go live. I get to go live. I get to change my world and say, well, here we go. We're either going to be the poop or we're going to be the fan, one or the other. And let's go. And I just go, because time is moving. I can't wait. If you all had to wait for me to get prepared, to get ready, so I get out of here and I just move into here, and some amazing stuff shows up. I see y'all's faces. I see Heather nodding. I see RBP nodding. I see you there. I watch the faces. I see Nicole. I see Nikki out in Vegas. My heart just sings, and I'm like, I love them. All I can do is the best I can do right now. And I show up. Here's the big difference. I show up every day. I show up every moment. Now, I may be an ass in some of those moments. You could ask Rhonda about that. She'll be like, what? Where did that come from? RBP, I see your hands up, girl.
Well, I wanted to say something to Angie when she was talking about this whole awakening she just had. And she mentioned, how did she say it about, golly, it's just slipped my mind. How did she say about clearing her letting go of anything that's not, what did she say?
That's
not hers?
Yeah. Take
Okay.
anything that's not mine.
So my prayer is almost that, but just a little tweak that I've learned that helps out a whole lot, Angie. And I changed the words to take away anything that's not of you that you've given me. So if that came out right, it basically does everything that Sean just walked you through, which is everything God has given you. And it takes away anything that is not what God has given you. So anything of the world that's picked up, that's tried to latch onto you, like Sean walked you through. And that prayer, when I changed it to that, it helped me dial in. And I get to have those awakenings that you just communicated. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Yes.
So then it's what we're supposed to do every day anyway, which is renew your mind daily, which to me it equals get rid of anything that the outside has told me I am, and only remember what God says I am, who I am, and what I'm to do.
Yes. I received that.
Wanted to speak that. I wanted to speak that over you and into you. That's a prophetic word. Yes, for you to not be entangled in anything other than
Look at that smile.
What God wants you to have.
Look at that smile.
So thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks,
Cool.
Sean.
You bet. So here's what happens. All it takes is a little shift, right? When will shift happen? What if shift happens, right? We're putting an F in there, I think, between if you spell the two words. Yeah. So you watch Angie walk down the street now, and there's this smile, there's this joy, there's this furnace of love that was kindled inside of her. But anything we're about to get, listen, anything we're about to get, it's already here. It can't be someplace else. When you get joy, you didn't go take a joy pill. It just doesn't happen. So we'll continue. Oh, funny how the next statement is exactly what just happened with Angie. All I can do, this is what I do every day. All I can do is remind you of the love and courage inside of you, so you make those steps happen. Isn't that all any of us can do with our kids, with our family? Excuse me. Isn't that anything all of us can do? My mother said anytime after somebody sneezed after.
Bless you.
Thank you. A Babaism, a kind of a Jewish Babaism. Anytime somebody sneezes after you say something means it's true. So all I can do is remind you of the love and courage inside of you, so you can make the steps, so you can get home. Do you hear that? Every one of us, every one of the people you're about to sit down with is trying to figure out a way to get home, to get to their place of peace. Oh, wow. Where's Heather? There she is. So here's a download that came to me. How would you act if you were not a prisoner? Right now, if you had the freedom, if in this moment right now, you were not limited by thoughts of money, thoughts of health, thoughts of anything, and you had unlimited everything that you want. In this moment, you had complete joy. In this moment, you were complete presence. In this moment, you were totally present with you, with your ability, your capability, your capacity. And in this moment, you had everything of anything that you ever wanted. How would you act if you were no longer a prisoner of your society, of your old story, of your relationship that went bad, of your relationship that went good, of your children, of a lost child, of a child that's healthy, of a child what would happen if you were no longer prisoner to your story? What's the biggest challenge? Listen, what's the biggest challenge when you hear stories? What was the story where he climbed out through him and Morgan Freeman? What was the name of that one? Shawshank Redemption. And when one of the prisoners that was about to get out, they said he was going to work to help him get out. But he said he'd been in there so long. Remember when they would go to the halfway house whenever they got out, and people would scroll their names into the beams in the thing, and they would normally hang themselves in that halfway house because they didn't know how to act on the outside of the movie. Yeah, because freedom wasn't. Yeah. How many of us are getting hung up? Not too much different than being hung. How many of us are getting hung up on our old story, hung up on the story we're afraid to tell people, hung up on the thing listen, the enemy gave you a story to keep you stuck. The enemy gives you a story to keep you stuck. And when you don't reveal that story, when you don't tell that story, it doesn't have to work on you anymore. It doesn't have to show up on you anymore. It's like, oh, I gave you some bad shit in your life. Good luck with that. See ya. I can go find some other souls to get stuck. Did y'all read that? The devil doesn't tear down the weak.
Come on, man. You preaching now. Keep on going, brother. You got me all excited and worked up over here. Don't stop. That's good.
I'm watching her pen and finger go, she's just pointing. Heather, you're so right. The devil doesn't tear down the weak. All of you are so strong. But all of you keep
thieves don't rob an empty vault. Never, never.
That'd be stupid. Rob an empty vault. Y'all are just these amazing souls. Church, so right. Y'all are amazing. I want you to listen. If every one of you succeed and every one of you absolutely break these chains of your old story, you know what it does for me? You know what it does for me? It makes the world a better place for my great, 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 great grandchildren. We're all going to survive today, but that ain't enough for me. That ain't enough for me. I want more. I want to be free. And I need a band of misfits to go with me.
Look at that shirt Heather had. Look at that.
What
Woo,
it's-
girl.
Oh yeah.
Come on now. That's right. She's
And it's
not
for the
surviving.
babies. It's for the
Oh.
babies.
Girl, show her right. See, that Sean, that's what you just said. She's not surviving, she's striving. There's a big difference there.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm freaking out.
Driving is on life support.
Okay, but I don't wanna
Then
take-
the question becomes, when are they going to pull the plug? What's that?
That's right.
Most-
In the chat, they just said, you a whole beast. Come on.
Right? Most people die at 21. We bury them at 65. It's time. Here's the challenge. Here's the real tough challenge. If you all do what you say you want, if you all do what you say you want, if you all decide what is within your freedom and take away what's not yours, if you all decide what is yours, if Epictetus said that when you decide decide what's in your circle of influence and what's outside your circle of influence, you know why you're exhausted? You know why you can't wake up? You know why you need more than 3 hours of sleep or 4 hours of sleep and you're exhausted? Is because you're working on stuff that's outside of your control. When you decide what's in your control, you see the smile that Angie had. This, oh my gosh, what is mine? My car's not mine. This isn't mine. But what is mine is my smile, is my desire, is my energy. When you say you're walking in faith, why don't you just walk in faith? You're walking outside of faith, and then that's where it's tough. You're walking outside in the cold. Come on in. Come on home. What source challenges your discovery? You want more? You want to do more? You want to be more? You want to become more? What source is challenging that discovery? It ain't the one that wants to discover. Shammy just typed in there a whole big old paragraph, how she wasn't sure if she could get on the call. She wasn't sure if she could do a lot of things. And all of a sudden, something drove her to get on at 9:30 exactly. What's that source? What's the source that's making you all show up here? 31 souls are sitting here. What is that source? Don's currently on a plane to London. You go, dude. Rock it out, man. Thanks for changing the energy on the plane. When in your past have you used your strength? What happens to a muscle if we don't use it all the time? It weakens. Do you use your see? I'm blessed. I ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer. I'm not even like a good spoon sometimes. But I work on my muscle of love. I work on my muscle of listening. I work on my muscle of how can I give you all I got? Because I got plenty of source. I got plenty of source. All I got is unlimited. All I got is unlimited. Bring it on, I say every day. Bring it on. Bring me anything you got. Bring me the worst. Bring me the challenges, the hate. Bring me all of that stuff, because when it gets to me, it stops here. Bring me doubt. Bring me doubt all day long, because I get to exhale it into courage. I get to breathe it out into faith. Bring me all you got. I'll transform it, because I ain't doing the transforming. I just go, here you go. There's a pile right over there. Okay, good. Here we go. How do you get past your challenges? How have you gotten past your challenges in the past? That's that list of 50 things that you've done that people didn't think you could do. Those were the challenges. Everybody thought they got you stuck. Those were the challenges the enemy thought, oh, here's one for you. Gosh, dang it. They got through that one. Now I got to come up with a bigger one. These challenges you're going through are just the tests. You go, Shammy, worked on your muscle of listening. Here's something else. I've noticed with some of my younger souls that are on the call, there's a word, there's a phrase, there's a word that gets used an awful lot in your conversations. And it's the word like. I'm going to ask you to pay me $1 every time you say the word like. Yeah, like, well, like, you know, I was doing this like, and you're not here to like life. That's why you're stuck. You're liking life. You say it, you put it out there all the time. I'm going to encourage you, if you want to get advanced, if you want to take it to the next level, love, put the word love in there. Or if you want to eliminate the word, put the word jackass in there. Do something, but listen, I counted one time in a 3-minute conversation, the word like 78 times. 78 times you're setting yourself up for liking life, and then you get frustrated because you want to love life. If every word has vibration and you work on every word and you want to be in a highest state of vibration, like is not the word. Be careful of how often you say that. And for some of you, I love you. I wouldn't be telling you if I didn't love you. I wouldn't be telling you if I thought you were competition, because I'd love for you to stay in the like realm. I want you to get into the love realm. I want you to get into the freedom realm. But you're setting yourself up for liking everything. Oh, watch this. Watch RBP on these questions. How do you open to grace? How do you open to grace? The door is knocking. How do you open the door to grace? Oh, here's a tough one. How do you trust grace? How do you trust grace? And then here's one. How do you hear grace? We're going to church this morning. You got it, girl. Passing the plate. And listen, it's not church, it's life. The challenge is that, and I know what you meant. We're going to church this morning. We're hearing words that you wouldn't normally hear unless you were in that building. But why do we need to go to that building to have so much faith and love and joy? I don't show up at a building on Sundays because I'm in one every day. But that's a whole nother story. So how do you open to grace? Man, I'm telling you, if you just answer these questions, we could spend weeks on all of this, and we're only on page 1.5. I got 6 more pages to go. I'll go through the rest of this page and then we'll, what part of you is sick? If not your body, if not a part of your body is sick, why do you suffer? If your body is not sick, if you are healthy, if you are walking down the street and you look healthy, what part of your body is sick? Now, I understand people could be going through cancer. People could have kidney issues. People could have sore muscles coming from the gym. So the 3 questions before, I think Natalie asked, is it Natalie? Natalie asked, how do you open to grace? How do you trust grace when it shows up in your life? And how do you hear grace come into your life? What part of your body is sick? If not your body, if your body is not sick, if you're healthy right now, then why are you suffering? Where are you suffering? It's in your mind. Your heart is not suffering. Your heart is sad because it wants to have control, but it is the greatest servant in the world. And your heart goes, as you wish, to the mind. And when the mind loses control, and when the mind is taken out of authority, the heart is at peace. Paulo Coelho in the book Manuscript Found on the Cross says, no heart has ever feared when it's on its true journey. Oh, no heart has ever feared when it's on its true journey. Tell it not to fear. Tell the body not to fear. When the heart is on its true journey, there is nothing to fear. The brain comes up with all of this stuff. The mind comes up with all of the fear, false evidence appearing real, face everything and run. We can come up with all the anagrams we want. When you are in love, there's nothing to fear. When you see a puppy, every one of us wants to go squish it. Now, you may be a cat person. I get that. When you see a kitten, you may want to squish a kitten in a good way. You know what I mean? A baby, you want to pinch its cheeks. It changes our vibration. When you are in love, your vibration is the best it can be. The challenge is how many times were we in love or we found out we just thought we were acting as if we were in love. Couple more here. Are you thinking about dying? Do you know why it's so hard to give up the old story? The same reason it's so hard for us to think up the old. Listen, I hope you're thinking about dying. The old story needs to die. That's why we can't give it up. The old story needs to die. Every day I look to give away my old story. Because if I bring over the story from yesterday, 70,000 thoughts a day, 65,000 thoughts a day, 5,000 of them we're conscious of. The other 60, 70,000 thoughts are from yesterday. And can I do nothing fails like success? If I was totally successful yesterday and I bring it over today, I will fail miserably today. This is why people work on incremental growth. We do all need to take care of us, Leslie. Absolutely. And if 85% of doctor visits are stress related, and stress related is from our mind, not from our heart, 85% of disease, they say, can be tied to stress, and stress is how we look at life. What if we all just learned how to exhale a little bit deeper? Don, be good, brother. All of those people on the plane, thanks for making the world a better place. Thanks for getting on the plane so that they can travel to, I guess you're going to Europe to the event over there. Safe travels to them all. One of my favorite flights is from here over to Europe. You going into Heathrow, or are you going into
Yeah, I'm going to Heathrow.
Okay.
It should be fun.
Awesome. Have a safe travel, brother.
Thank you.
Travel. I landed on a 777 one time in Heathrow. It was a little windy. We hit down, wheels hit so hard the oxygen masks bounced out. Oh, I love it. Safe travels, brother. I say this often, but it's super hard to live in the now when the now is filled with things that are pressing. Nikki, you're absolutely right. But what is the determination? What is the clarification? What is who decided the definition of pressing? And yeah, but your bills, have you ever thanked them? Have you ever put a thank you card when you pay the bills? And I know you probably pay a lot online. But if there's ever a place to add a note, have you ever said thank you when you pay your bills? Why not? How many people do you think are just about going through a divorce? Yeah, I know. I hear you. Listen, when I pay my bills, I have people who call me. Sometimes there's one particular payment that's late for me just because there's a part of me. But the person that calls, listen to this, the person that calls me, if it happens to be late, she goes, I know I'm not supposed to say this. This is a recorded call. She says, but when you're late, it makes me so happy. She said, because I get to talk to you. You are the most amazing person I've ever spoken to in the collections business. I absolutely love it. And her name is Martha. And she'll say, hi, this is Martha. I go, Martha, how are you? She goes, I just can't believe this is how I get to talk to you. Somebody that I'm calling to ask, where's your money? Martha, listen, I appreciate all you do. I don't know if they know how special you are. So, yep, here's the bank account. Let's do it. Let's do a draft on it now. She goes, I hope, I wish you continued success, but I hope you're late again next month. Who has relationships like that? I do. When we went through $1 million in debt, there were a lot of people calling. But you know what? They had to make the call so that on their side, they could make the call, and there were recorded calls. And they said, hey, Sean, it's John or Tom or Bill or whoever it was. I just got to make the call so I can document it. How are things going? Good. And they really couldn't get too personal. But some of these people I helped with relationships outside of their work. If God made the earth and it is good, what you're going through right now, it is good. if you want joy in everything, have joy in everything. We can't select it. You can't be non-joyous over here paying a bill. And I'm not, listen, Nikki, this is me too. Well, if there's a knowing, and part of this is knowing this amazing soul you are, and the stress that sometimes you get pulled in so many directions with the kids and with the schooling and with all of this stuff. I'm going to ask you to just learn to breathe a little bit for you. It's been a while, I'm guessing, since you've taken some real downtime for you, because you just ain't got it. So if doing your best, and you're operating at, I'm going to guess, half capacity, you're full out, but your joy bank, your joy tank is probably running a little low. I'm sure this is every woman who's on here feels that way. Don's showing us out the window. We're rolling out the window. Excuse me, sir, can you turn your phone off? It's takeoff. We got to learn how to fill up our joy tank. This is where ladies, I'm going to encourage you, build your tribe. We've heard this 100 times on this call. Women can be a little bit peculiar. That's code for vicious sometimes. Safe flight, Don. There we go. We're taxiing. Hey, listen, think about this. We're all on a plane right now going to London. All of us. We're on that phone. We're in that phone. We're in that energy. We're all going to London. Safe travels, buddy. Wheels up. Yeah, I agree with men. But so here's the thing, Nasir, is there is a level of I'm tough, I'm good enough. I may not like your shirt you're wearing, but I'll tell you that. Meaning, we just have this whole idea that we can say things differently to guys. We can say things to each other, but we don't have to talk a lot. Ladies' brains are absolutely different. And when their brain is different, they do things differently. And there is this level of competition among them that is at such an unspoken level. It's crazy how women, this community where they by design, they're designed to care more. They're designed to love more. When they have a child, their brain changes. There's a flood of hormones that makes them the mobby brain, that fog brain, where they're not supposed to be fighting or tribe-like. They're supposed to be community-like. And it's just a different mindset. Guys, we need to do it. The challenge with guys is we don't talk enough. So, one last question here. What can you do to make the first move towards your journey? Decide your destination. Decide your destination. And what can you do to make the first step towards that journey? The challenge is that we're going on somebody else's journey more often than not. I need to get to this rank. Why do you need to get to that rank? Well, because I want the money. Why do you need the money? If you want happiness, if you want to be in joy, take away everything that you have no control over, you'd have very little things. You'd already be in joy. So there you go. I talked for, an hour and 40 minutes. Questions, comments, thoughts before we bring this in for a landing?
Hey, Sean, you know you're speaking my language on this. Oh my gosh. This is, if y'all have ever heard the phrase, and if you haven't, I'll be shocked if you haven't. This is discipleship at its best. And I don't care what you're discipling, this is discipleship at its best. This is how you do it. This is how you uncover all those crazy things that's going on in your head. Like I'm hearing Nikki, and on the same token, I'm hearing Dawn, because Dawn's in this airplane fixing to go and chase a dream, and he's physically doing it right now. And then I feel Nikki, and Nikki's at home going, I just got to live. I got to take another breath without losing my mind. And we're all in those places at some point in time. And what's crazy is we can be in those same spots in an hour's time. We can go from one to the other. Crazy, crazy thoughts and crazy, crazy feelings. And this is some of these questions that he hit on are hard questions to even comprehend and answer if you haven't gotten through some of the surface material in your brain and you haven't gotten down to the heart of the matter and what your heart really is saying instead of what your brain's saying. Oftentimes society speaks to our brain, and society tells us what to think, what to say, what to wear, where to go, what to eat, what to drink. It lines everything out for us, and we do it because we don't want to not be included in society. But when we finally realize that we are just who we are, and that it is okay to not be in society's favorite spot, and we begin to realize that we're swimming upstream while all the other dead fish are floating downstream, it makes a big difference. Sean says it over and over and over, let the dead bury the dead. It's a choice to be alive. What's Don saying? I can't read it. Dream of success while others wait. Oh, some dream of success while others wake up and work hard at it. Yes. But you know, working hard at it even is a skewed way of saying it, because the hard work isn't out there necessarily busting it. The hard work is getting out of your brain and into your heart and finding out who you are and what makes you tick, because what makes you tick might not make me tick. So you've got a whole other group of people waiting for you to show up that I'll never influence. But we can influence each other and we can encourage each other because we're on the same vibration. We just speak a different language. It's the same thing of me when I go to our corporate events or our get-togethers, and there's a whole group of Latin Americans. I don't speak any Spanish. Well, the Spanish I speak is not real good. And, you know, I can only ask how much does it cost and can I go to the bathroom and bye and hello. That's about it. But because we're all in the same vibration, we speak a similar language, and it's a heart language. There's things in here, Sean, that you wrote down that I don't know that some people can even ask themselves this right now. Some of these questions they can't even ask. When you start asking questions about grace, and I can't even remember where it was, how to step into grace and how to meet grace, a lot of things like that come with mercy. And mercy and grace are not getting what you deserve to get, but getting what you don't deserve to have. And the way you walk through that a lot of times is like for Heather's instance, it's going through hell to understand true grace and true mercy. She had no understanding like she did after that woman came and began to see her every day in the prison that had no connection to her, didn't even speak the same language. That's grace and mercy. And y'all have heard it time and time again. How do they say it? Success is often clothed in hard work and opportunity. Grace and mercy are clothed in trials and tribulations. And you can't get to these other questions until you understand that, because you can't understand grace and mercy until you extend it to yourself, until you accept it and you receive it. And when you accept it and you receive it, it's a wave of emotion that comes over you and you go, I cannot believe the mercy and the grace that has been extended to little old me. But when you feel it and when you see it and when you receive it, because you can see it and feel it and never receive it, but when you receive it and you let it go all the way down into the deepest part of your soul and into your spirit, it's then that the old story can start letting go, and you can start letting go of that. And then you can accept others where they are, whether they like you, whether they hate you, whether they backstab you, whether they support you, it will not matter. But some of these questions that Sean just asked us, I'm going to be reading these questions a lot. There are a lot of questions on here that I have still, yes, you a whole beast. There are a lot of questions in here that I'm sitting here looking at it going, holy crap, I've done some work, but I've kind of been wimpy and I've gone through some crap in my brain. And this is so amazing. The download that came to you, Sean, and I was feeling it last night because I felt darkness kind of hovering over me. And this morning I felt some darkness hovering over me. And I heard that still small voice. I've got it on the call for you. So I had everything set. Y'all was sitting at 7:30 going, doesn't the call start at 7:30? Oh my gosh, I've got an hour to wait because all this was coming to us. I mean, the second page in notes, and what was it? The third question I wrote down is, who is waiting on me? Who's waiting on me? Who's waiting on you?
Who's
and then
praying
all
for
these
the journey to begin?
Yes. And then defining freedom and sticking to it. And I understand it's hard. Nikki, I'm feeling you. I understand when things go 697 miles an hour and you can't even go to the bathroom and pee because the kids want to get in there with you then too, or the phone wants to follow you in there, or the cat's scratching underneath the door and you're like, I just need a minute. I mean, I can't even shower alone. I've either got a kid jumping in the shower with me, a husband jumping in the shower with me, a cat getting in the shower. I get it. But there's moments where you can just sit and breathe, and you got to find them and you got to make them happen. And you got to realize when you get busy like this, that's the enemy keeping you from that next breakthrough that's coming right around the corner. And it's coming. It's coming. Nikki, I want to encourage you like crazy girl. It's coming for you. And it goes back to what Sean has said and spoken into me that keeps coming to me and coming to me and coming to me. Sometimes you got to do less to become more. And you got to find out what it is you're doing that's exhausting you to where you can't become more. Sean, you lit me up on this phone call. Like, I just, would she say thank you and do this note? Continue push forward. I just had to dissect a couple of things. Yeah. Well, dissect or make a decision. And sometimes you have to just decide to cut those off. And I have multiple stories in the last 3 years that I've had to cut things off that were like an arm on my body. But this is a call that I'm going to have to sit and digest over and over again. This is a call that anybody that calls themselves a Christian should listen to this call every day, because this is a call to love humanity, love yourself, and loving others, and accepting grace and mercy, and extending grace and mercy. Because I don't know about y'all, but there's sometimes Sean, and he had to do it to me this morning. He has to go, I have to send a message and he has to write back, forgive. That is all they can be. And I have to remember, oh my heavens, I really do. I really do. So I love this. I hope what I just said made sense, because there's a lot inside of me. I'm going to be writing a lot today. Y'all pray for the people I'm going to be around, because I'm going to try not to mow them down with love, but it might happen. I don't know. And I love y'all. I love y'all so much. Thanks for being here. I needed every one of y'all today. Every one of y'all.
Oof, the questions on the next page are like, even you thought the first 2 pages were good. Do me a favor, y'all. I'm just feeling it. Leslie Hebert's kind of like one of the founders of these calls, the Daily Awakenings, and she had some challenges yesterday. Send her some love this morning. Just send her some hearts. Just let her know we're all thinking about her. So there you go, y'all. There's an hour and a half, but I almost don't want to leave you on this, but I keep getting pushed to tell you this. I need you to think for just a second. If you were to try to tell me, this is where we're looking to get. Inside of this joy, inside of this next level, inside of all of these things, describe to me what it would feel like to have movement inside of a bigger stillness. We are all moving, but we're moving in a world that's moving with us. What if we could be moving? What if we could be the observer inside a bigger stillness? And when that starts to settle in, when that starts to sink in, some pretty amazing things can happen for you and through you. And then I'll leave you on this, and we'll start with these again tomorrow. We'll start with the rest of these questions tomorrow. How much of your love is based on the need for trust? How much of your love is based on the need for trust versus a knowing? Trusting is there's a chance it may not work out. A knowing is there's absolutely no doubt. So, there you go. Thanks for listening with me this morning. Thanks for being a part of it with me this morning. Love every one of you. Appreciate you all so very much. Y'all have an amazing day. Oh, Jasmine, I'm glad. And Jasmine, you're just this amazing soul. I just love your energy. I love your spirit. I love how much you are just absolutely working on yourself and awakening to yourself, awakening to the new you. Every one of you are. But Jasmine has been sending me a couple of notes in Instagram, and I just got to say, I'm in love with this soul that you're awakening with and to. So I appreciate you so much, as well as I appreciate every one of you. So there you go, folks. Tell each other you love each other, and I'm going to say goodbye, and I appreciate you. Shammy, love you too. I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits, and I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Love y'all.
Thank you, Sean.
Love y'all.
Love you guys.
Love
Thank
y'all.
you all.
Thank you,
Have a
Sean.
blessed
I love
day.
you all.
guys.
Have a blessed
Everybody have a
day.
blessed
We're
day.
grateful for you guys. Thank you so much.
You're a
100
rock star,
episodes.
Rhonda.
Bye.
Love y'all.
Hey, Sean.
Bye, guys.
Bye
Look
bye.
at Ralph. I'd love to see your face, Ralph. Yay!
Hey,
Love y'all.
love y'all. Everybody have a blessed day.
You too.